Well, hello. My name is Susan and my channel is Seaside Stitches, and welcome to my channel. It has been a while, so apologies that I haven't been on here for quite a while. It's now towards the end of August and this is my Friday sews for the last Friday in August, and I'm quite excited to speak to you. Welcome to you if you are new here, and welcome back my fellow subscribers. Thank you ever so much. I have been vlogging for almost 5 years and I know I have some people who have stuck by me for such a long time, and I am so incredibly grateful. I can't tell you how grateful I am. I have considered about what to do about my channel. Things have been a bit bumpy this year, and but I just wanted to come on and check with you. As I say, it is the end of August, and I want to thank Jen for today. I want to thank Jen so much. Jen at Today in Today in One Sewing Room. That's not right, is it? Oh, never mind. Okay, I'll come back to that. So, what have I been doing? What have you been doing? I'd love to know what you've been doing over the summer. We went away mid-June to just for a week. I've spoken to you since then, but then towards the end of July we went away again, and that was amazing. We went to spend time, a couple of days with our son, daughter-in-law and the two children who are 10 and 12, and that was amazing. They were just getting ready to go on to holiday because we were cat sitting, and cat sitting is fine, but it's unusual when you're cat sitting for 4 cats, 2 of which are quite young and quite exuberant kittens. And yes, so we did that and that was great. And then when they came back, we still were there for a couple of days after that. So we had some time with them and time without them. And for those of you who have followed me for quite a while, you will be aware that we are intending to move onto a plot of land that they own. Actually, it's their garden. So in the grounds of their garden, we are having an annex, a granny annex, a granddad annex, whatever this is called. But anyway, it's a mobile home, and we're just waiting for what's called a certificate of lawful development. So it's got to go through a planning phase, but not as big as actually having a planning when you're going to build a dwelling on the in someone else's ground. So we have been at full speed about getting the house ready. I did several, it seems like several more videos about decluttering and getting the house on the market. The house has been on the market for a good while now, and we're not at all rushing because, as I say, there are things that need to be put in place for when we leave. We will leave if we get a buyer with the appropriate, who wants to pay the appropriate amount for the house and who has a buyer themselves, and we can have that transaction, and then we will leave. We have a contingency plan if that becomes a little bit earlier than expected, but we are just cracking on now really with a very determined decluttering effort. But we also have, if you've ever put your house on the market, we also have the pressure of being ready within a couple of hours for someone to come and view, so that it presents itself in its best possible outfit, if you like. So at this stage, I usually have to just go and check the video. I will do that in a moment, but I just want to say, if you've been here a while, you'll know that there've been a couple of changes here. And I have gone back to my golden mango just for a short while. So I golden mangoed myself last week, well, a few days ago anyway. And yeah, I'm loving it really, but it just takes a bit of getting used to at first. And then as it fades off after a couple of weeks, it's just about right how I like it, and a bit like how I used to have it, my natural colour. I was never naturally a golden mango kid, but I was a ginger nut, and yeah, it just revives me a bit to have some colour back in my hair. And I don't know how you feel about that for yourselves, but it just does me good. And I just think that the colour of this green was always kind of joked about, that if you have red hair you should wear a lot of green, and some kind of Irish connection with red hair and green clothes and whatever. But I used to be against green because I was supposed to wear it a lot. But I really love this. This was I'm going to say Michelangelo. Tells you how long I've been since I videoed. It's I want to call Michelle McElroy, because my sister, when she was growing up, not far from us, her best friend was called Michelle McElroy. So when people say, oh yeah, this is a Lady McElroy fabric, I think fondly of Michelle McElroy. Anyway, this is Lady McElroy fabric. I don't think they do it anymore. It's in the Pattern Emporium Take the Chance dress. I love it. It's got my particular airy sleeves. These are not the ones off the pattern, just so that you know. There are 3 or 4 different sleeves that you can use, and also you can interchange it with sleeves from Meet Me There and something else. A Meet Me There dress and something else. There are a number of other sleeves, but I have to mess about and find my own sleeve donor, because that's just who I am. But it's just a light and airy, easy breezy dress, and I really like this one. I have 3. This is my 3rd one, and yes, that's it. So the other thing I'd like to just mention are my twinkly earrings, which I really love, but go better with a different dress that I had on earlier. I did think to change them, but I quite like them. And they do flicker a little bit of green or turquoise somewhere, but they're not the right pink that goes with this dress. But I do like them, and so they kind of go okay with me golden mango hair. So I thought I'd leave them on for you. And yeah, so what have I been doing? Well, I've been doing a mix of decluttering, some sewing, and my most recent videos, my vlogs, have been about the process that I go through when I'm sewing. So I've been thinking much more about, I've been trying a lot to use what I have. Most of the year I have used what I have. I have amassed a little bit of fabric, which I have a video to go out about that, but that won't be just now. And I did make some plans for what to do with those pieces of fabric that I have. But at the moment they're stored in a drawer. They're all put away temporarily in case there are viewers this week, given that it's a bank holiday weekend and people may be over here near Blackpool on the Fylde coast, maybe looking for a house to retire in. And we have had we've had 3 really enthusiastic couples who were very interested in it. The first one hadn't got a buyer. When they did have a buyer, they came round, had another session, another viewing, and were here an hour, and we had a lovely chat with them. But it became clearer and clearer, even though they're enthusiastic, and they were so uplifting about, oh, your house is lovely, and we're so pleased how you've done it, and very, very flattering, very. They were praising us quite a lot, and it does you good, doesn't it? You know, but there just wouldn't be quite enough room for them. They have specific needs, and they would need a larger 3rd bedroom, so that wasn't a possibility. So it was really lovely. The experience of meeting them was really nice, so that was good, a good boost. And then we've had 2 other couples from out of the area. They were local, but from out of the area, and they really like it too. So neither of those have got buyers yet, and so we're just waiting, but we're not rushing, we're not worrying. As I say, we're not in a rush, and the longer we've got, the more time we've got for decluttering, for textile recycling, and for gosh, it's so warm in here. I could smell burning then. I thought, am I on fire? No, I'm not on fire. So what am I saying? So yes, fabric recycling, getting rid of a lot of scraps, but a lot of, oh gosh, you know, you've got bedding from years ago. We've been married for 52 years. 53 in November. So we have a lot of stuff, and even though we have downsized a number of times, and well, the last downsize was quite a considerable downsize, but still you keep things just in case. And we have quite a lot of just in case stuff. So I'm having to be quite ruthless. And anything that is shabby or fraying, we're not taking with us. We've got a limited amount of space there. So this video is about a bit of a sewing catch up and quite a bit of a live catch up. So I just wanted to talk about that with you. I was saying about what my sewing has been. Really, it's been a process over the last few weeks. No, not even, I haven't sewn anything. Oh, I'm fibbing about that. I've hardly sewn anything at all in August. I would just get what I have sewn. So I haven't made any done any dressmaking in August, but what I had was just a row of these, loads of these. Well, all these 4 were all sewn together in a row, and they were just my scraps from the considered scraps to make another project with. And I just did like you do with a jelly roll race. I kind of got as far as I was going, and then I joined the next row along, and then join the next row along, and join the next, until I've got some kind of quite a long piece now. And this is just really using up the scraps that I have, because to put the house on the market, we had quite a large picture of me over the in the bedroom. It wasn't a risque picture, I hasten to add, but it was, you're not meant to have something that's anything personal to you or your family around as a big distraction from other people thinking, how could I use that room? So I'll just pop this down and I don't wave it about a lot. So I had a quilt top. It was more of a wall hanging top that I had in, it's a bit like Hugs and Kisses, the pattern, and I found a way of cutting that. That's on another video, I've mentioned it before, and managing to fit it in the same frame with the picture of me that was in it. Use that, and then our bedside tables are really quite scruffy now. I had, going back a bit to the time of hand sanitizer everywhere, and I got hand sanitizer on the side of my cabinet, and I have a tissue box on there quite a lot, and that was all, the print came off the tissue box, stuck to the paint, the paint finish of the dressing table, side table, bedside table, whatever you'd call it, and that made a mess. So anyway, what I did was I made a couple of little, I'll pop a picture in of what I made. I just made some side, what do you call them? About a tray, like a tray mat, if you like. So I've got those that match the actual quilt that's in the quilt top that's in the picture, and just to coordinate it, that's just at the side of our beds when we show the house, because it picks out the lilac. We have some lilac things in the room, and the bedding is white with lilac on. Now that bedding, I don't know if you're people who are used to selling houses, but we have done quite a few, and so we have kept over the years a set of a duvet and pillowcase set that we put on for show when there is a viewer due. So we don't use that as the duvet all the time, because that is an absolute, I'm trying to think of it's a nuisance. I'm trying to think of a polite way of saying nuisance. It can be quite a nuisance. You don't want to be taking your duvet cover off, putting another one on, doing a thing, but you also don't want the one that you've used and it might be crumpled or whatever. Anyway, so we do that, and that is white with lilac on it, and the lilac picks out the lilac that I've used around this. So I'll just show you that after. It doesn't matter. I'd already made those, and I'd made one. I finished the other one last week, and I also just joined this together. So this could have been, I have a bit of batting or some fusible fleece. I have a few more strips that I could put on and that could be a footer for the bed, but I don't think we need to do that at the moment. So that is just sitting, waiting for a thought to appear about what that could be like, what that could turn into. So that's as far as that goes. That's all I've done in August, but I really enjoyed just the freedom of, it was like playing, just no pressure, just playing. The other thing that I have spent such a long time over towards the end of July, and I kind of left you hanging on the last diary of July that I did before we went down to our family, and that was this dress. So I just made this miraculous chance, I can't remember what, anyway. So I didn't have enough fabric for this, and when I did put as much as I had into that sleeve, it still wasn't right. It didn't sit right. There is a little frill inside that helps lift it up, but it wasn't right at all. It was quite bouffant at the top, but I didn't have enough for the width of it as it went down, so it looked a bit strange. So I took that out and I refashioned it with, I don't think I've got the, yes I have. I refashioned it with this sleeve from the S9642. I've never made this dress, but I have now got the pattern pieces cut out of the paper, if you know what I mean. But the sleeves, the short sleeves, are really interesting to make. And I can't think of her name, I'm sorry, but she's inside the hem. Is it Lindsay? I'm not sure. The person who has the channel Inside the Hem does a lovely sew along on this. She does about four parts sew along, and she takes you through how to do the sleeve. Now I added a little bit on the length of the sleeve, but when I put the sleeves on this dress, it is absolutely chef's kiss. Now that's the first time I've ever used that phrase, but that's how I found it. I absolutely love that sleeve. And I do have a picture somewhere that I will pop in of that's how far I got with it. But because I had altered the sleeve, I had a little pleat here. And I was so determined that I was getting that sleeve in, even though it wasn't meant for that armhole, that I altered the length of the armhole, twisted that up here, whatever. And so I've caused a little bit of a pleat on each side. And I don't care. It was a toile that I was making, and the fabric cost me £8 for the whole lot of it. I really love the fabric, and I do like the dress. And the dress is unusual for me because it's down to the waist and it sticks out from the waist. And usually I don't like that style. If you've been with me a while, you'll know that I don't like that style that much because my hips go out in a shelf from my waist. So they go like that, and then they seem to go like that. But it's really flattering. It works. The fabric works. And I'm dying to make another one, but I haven't quite finished it. So I've messed about with the bodice, making a toile. Took me ages trying to get this bodice right for the 20, not this one, for the Know Me 2016. And I was making a bodice anyway, to try and get a bodice block that I could transfer to all sorts of different dresses. I just gave up in the end and just cut this in some scrappy fabric, made it, got the best fit I could, found that I needed to do an addition on here, and when I cut it out I knew exactly what I was supposed to do, taking this piece off the pattern, add it down here, forgot all about it, and so I ended up with a pleat that I have to put a dart in, so it had an extra dart. And then I've also done this funny thing where I've left another pleat, and I lowered the neckline, so none of that fits with the facing, and I just need to fathom a way of finishing it. The only thing that's not right now is I haven't turned up the inside facing on the bottom of the sleeve. It's on, but I just haven't caught it by hand on the inside. and I haven't put binding on the neck because it was meant to have interfacing on the neck on the inside and lined bodice, but I didn't want to mess about with a lined bodice on a toile, and I was very short of fabric anyway, but I didn't want to start then messing with some satin kind of lining that would be all over the place and just send me off my track, or out of my mind, really. So I haven't done that. So I'm going to work out probably before this video goes out, my Friday sews goes out before you see this, hopefully I will be able to fathom how I'm doing the neck, and even though there may be some gathers here, that would be fine for me. I'm okay. I know what's gone wrong. I know how to put it right when I make the new version, and I do want to make another version of this. I have really enjoyed the process of it. So I really can smell burning, so just hang on. No, it's okay. It's just someone out the back is doing some work, some woodworking where it's causing a bit of friction. I could just pick up a bit of a, that's not quite right. So excuse me, I will edit this bit out because I don't like hearing people slurp when they're drinking, when they're on the vlog. So I don't want you to have to put up with it either. Just hang on. Now I'm kind of talking about all sorts of things, but that's just how I am. So what I want to do now is talk about the process that we're going through with our home, really, our mobile home. And as I say, we're waiting for the certificate of lawful development. And but in the meantime, we can't buy this lodge, mobile home, whatever. We can't buy it until we've sold. Then we have to order it, etc., etc. But what I have done is taken some photos of where it's going to be. If you'd like to see that, I'm going to do that in a separate video. If that's not anything you're interested in, then you don't need to watch it. I'll put on that there's no sewing. It's about nature, so there are pictures of nature. So I don't know, for those of you who haven't met me before, and if you're still with me now, it is a 2-acre plot. We're not obviously taking 2 acres, and there is you could loosely call it a field, but there is a place that is undeveloped as a garden, and what we're trying to do as a family, as a larger family, is to rewild a lot of it. It's got lots of wilding already. There's lots of brambles and hawthorns and berries and things for nature. And we get visited by, it's just such a thrill, get visited by deer, muntjac deer. We're not far from Whipsnade Zoo, so talking Bedfordshire, Buckinghamshire, and there's another one, not Hampshire, Hertfordshire. Anyway, so Tring, Aylesbury, Bedfordshire, Dunstable, Luton, because Dunstable Downs is not far away either. So lots of countryside. Going to be very strange being landlocked because I love the seaside and my channel is Seaside Stitches, so what the heck I'm going to call it then, I don't know. And that wasn't why I was going to give it up, but I had a long period of not quite well enoughness. Don't want to go into that. I'm so much better now. I've got the right medication, and I'm not getting side effects like I was, and all that kind of thing. So I feel like I'm just doing really well. So that's great. And while we were there, as I was saying, we had a good time while they weren't there, because we did some exploring. So we now can find 3 or 4 different places setting off from their house, and being able to get there without relying on sat-nav too much. And Hemel Hempstead is one of our simplest ways to get there. And yes, we've tried, we're aware of how to get to Milton Keynes, and we have managed to get from theirs with sat-nav, and end up on a car park in Aylesbury, which is where we headed to. So that worked. But it's getting stuff in your head of where things lie, where things are, how far away, how complicated. We managed to find 4 really lovely garden centres, and I think we'll be doing a lot of backwards and forwards to garden centres. There's going to be lots of planting. There's going to be lots of resting as well. We're going to be resting. But Alan has, his hobby is art, and he draws nearly every night. He draws in a little notebook, he draws in a big notebook, he draws here and there, and then he puts it on the computer and colours it in, and then alters it and changes it and whatever. And he's a member of a Zoom group for art, so that's him covered. And he has that social aspect to his life, to his hobby. And unfortunately, I haven't, as I say, I had some not wellness, and I love going to the sewing social at Claytonley Moors. Christine at Gemini Stitcher runs a sewing social, Northwest Sewing Social, and I love going there, and I love the people there. And I went quite early on when they'd started. I think they'd done 3 or 4 sessions by the time I joined. But there were people, it was just a lovely atmosphere, and it's just a little bit too far for me now to feel consistently well enough to know that I can book it and then to go. And we've had some loss in the family. I'm not going into that at all, except that it just hit me hard, and the loss of the person did live not far from there. So there's a few triggers going on that I'd rather just leave for now until I feel much better. So I did try to go a couple of months ago, and I just wasn't up to it. So when I put on Alison's video yesterday, So Like Dotty, I think it was yesterday, might have been Saturday, and she started off her video, and on the screen came up this a little notice that there was going to be a new sewing club at a sewing social in Preston. Now I live about, 21 miles from Preston, and I used to live in Preston. We were both, I did my degree in Preston. Alan did his degree in Preston. I'm talking about as adults. I was in my 30s, he was in his 50s when he did his degree. We know it quite well. I worked at South Ribble, which is just off Preston, just through Preston towards Chorley, and it means a lot to me, and I'm very, very familiar with Preston. We lived there for a long time, and so there is a place, and so I booked on that, and that's coming up at the end of September. So if any of you are interested in that, I think she's called Paula_sews. But if not, if you go on Alison So Like Dotty, if you check on her channel on the last video, the last couple of videos, I think she's mentioned it anyway. She's mentioned this sewing club. It's just a sewing social, 10 to 12, and on a Saturday, and it's easy for me to get to. It's easy to park. I don't have an hour's journey where I've got to concentrate and be okay on a motorway. I don't have to have that coming back like 6 hours later, whatever. So I'm really happy about that. That gives me also the opportunity to sew somewhere where I don't have to be worried about making the mess. And I'm not even showing you the mess that's in here today because it is diabolical. But that's not because I've been sewing. I've been looking through bedding and, like I said before, trying to be ruthless, getting rid of frayed towels and cotton canvas kind of throws that have got some kind of stain on, or it sounds dreadful, doesn't it? But I'm talking like a black pen mark, oh, never mind. It doesn't matter. And Alan has been tidying the garage and sorting all his power tools up and everything. So, because when we go down there, we want to have a full life and we want to do the same things that we do here. And we'll have that enriched by being with the family, and also they can help us, we can help them, and it feels very reciprocal. We had a lovely time planning and plotting, and Amy drawing plans for the garden and matching up where our building will be level with one of their workshops and all this kind of thing. So, but there are buildings to take down. Well, I say buildings, but if you see the video, you'll see what I mean by buildings. So anyway, I think that's enough for now. I hope I haven't bored. Well, if I have bored you, I'm really sorry. If you know me, that I'm not the person who says I've made 7 dresses or I've made 5 shirts or I've made whatever this month. I'm a relatively slow sewist. I love to sew when I'm in the mood to sew, and I don't always, it's not to me, this has only come up for me a few months ago. That is the process that I love about sewing. Yes, it's nice to finish something, but when I did the Me Made May, I discovered that I have 17 dresses. I didn't know I had 17 dresses. I wore no repeats of Me Made over a month of May, and they're all on Instagram. My Instagram is Susan Seaside Stitches, and I was surprised when I did the stats on it that I had actually shared 17 dresses, and that's not all of them. So I don't have many more dresses, but I'm 72. Oh yeah, that's another thing that's happened. I had my 72nd birthday a couple of weeks ago, and I'm still absolutely so grateful, so pleased, so ecstatic really that I'm still here at 72 and that I'm still sewing at 72. And my bulk of sewing was in the 60s and 70s, and now I am I've been in my 60s and 70s since I started sewing again, but now I am also in my 70s. So anyway, I'm going to say goodbye for now. I'd love you to drop in again. If you could, I'd love it if you'd give me a like. I'd love it if you'd subscribe. I've got something like 1,460 something subscribers, and before my fifth anniversary as a vlogger, which comes up in October, I'd really love to get to the 1,500. And I can't apologise enough about the excitement outside, or somebody having a little party across the way, and all power to them. So lots of love to you all, and Susan at Seaside Stitches, just for now, signing off.